A child named Luchan is born at the beginning of the film. Luchan is a mysterious child with unusual markings on his head. This implies that he has unparalleled strength and power. Despite this, his father does not care for him. He remains unconcerned about his family. His mother, unlike his father, adores Luchan. He has grown up faster than a normal child. However, we can see that his father's situation was very similar. It appears that he has abandoned them. And as a result, they are experiencing several eating and living difficulties. Luchan's mother was caught stealing edibles one day. As a result, the authorities have sentenced her to various punishments. Luchan, on the other hand, was eating chocolate and watching a game show. Meanwhile, a child approaches and grabs his chocolate in front of a large crowd. When Luchan notices this, he pursues them, but the youngster and his friends mock him. Along with this, they torture him by removing his cap and striking his mark, causing him to pass out from the pain. Luchan awakens after a while and, using his abilities, defeats each of the boys one by one. A man of King was also there in the market. Because of his superpowers, he is highly amazed and invites Luchan to join him. Outside the palace, Luchan's mother is thrown. We can see that she is in horrible shape because she is severely injured. The commander also meets Luchan's mother and informs her that he wants to keep her son. His mother believes he could teach him Kung Fu. He'll train him and turn him into a fine warrior. Along with that, he'll look after his son. That is why she agrees to keep Luchan with the man. His mother passes away after a while. As a result, Luchan becomes depressed and eventually breaks down. After a few years, we notice Luchan has matured. He is now a member of the king's army, and takes part in a war. He was fighting like a regular person, and the king's army was losing. Meanwhile, a man assaults Luchan and knocks him out. He continues to strike his target, causing the mark to enlarge and become black. Luchan, meantime, awakens and his eyes begin to flash brightly. He starts killing the men of the enemy army one by one. He dominates and defeats them all. As a result, the king is victorious in the war. Luchan's condition was not good, and he has gone to the hospital. The doctor examines the mark and asks a few questions about himself. He inquires as to why you continue to fight. The commander has requested me to do this, according to Luchan. He claims that the more I struggle, the stronger I will become strong. The doctor informs him that it has no benefit for him. Because the more people hit your target, the darker it grows. You'll be killed the day this mark turns fully black. As a result, no one should be allowed to touch this mark. When it comes to the commander, he is a terrible person. He'll do anything for money and doesn't actually care about anyone. However, you must take care of yourself and your life. Your Kung Fu is sucking all of your energy out of your body. As a result, you'll get so weak that you'll die within a few days. You should, however, learn Shaolin Kung Fu. As a result, your power will increase rather than decrease. This Shaolin Kung Fu is a type of martial arts. And you will save lives, without harming others. However, there is a minor problem. Outsiders are not permitted to learn Shaolin Kung Fu. After learning everything, Luchan approaches the doctor and asks where he can learn Kung Fu. The doctor advises him to go to the village, but the commander appears during their talk. He fights with the doctor, and to defend himself, he employs Shaolin Kung Fu. Luchan was also admiring his abilities and was shocked. He develops an interest in learning Kung Fu. As we can see, the enemies attack them at night, and fire breaks out all over the place. Luchan meets with the doctor and inquires about the village, where he can learn Shaolin Kung Fu. The doctor gives him the address and informs him that he must learn from the master. Luchan sets out on his trip to reach his destiny. He walked for days through many villages. It signifies from one village to the next and to the third village. When he discovers that the settlement is surrounded by a mountain. After some time, he arrives at his destination. This was a little settlement nestled in the foothills of a large mountain range. It was also isolated from the rest of the world. This community had a total of 40 to 50 dwellings. However, they accept their culture, behavior, lifestyles, and concepts. They are aware of them and hold them in high regard. They have to isolate themselves from Western civilization. He starts looking for the great master as soon as he enters the village. Everyone asks him, "Have you come to learn Shaolin Kung Fu?" When he replies yes, the villagers protest, "Our art is only ours. This Kung Fu cannot be taught to strangers. This work will only be seen in our village because it cannot be taken outside." As a result, they request that Luchan leave the village. Luchan sits down after being furious and disappointed. Meanwhile, a car arrives, carrying Yuni and Xing. Meanwhile, Xing's car collides with Luchan, causing him to fall far away. He passes out, and Yuni, in an attempt to reawaken him, comes up to him and asks, "Are you alright?" Luchan, however, gets up after seeing the lovely girl. Yuni was, in fact, the Grand Master's daughter. Meanwhile, she was accompanied by a boy, Xing, who was an officer. He grew up in the same village, although he wasn't a native of it. It denotes that he doesn't belong to this village. He proceeded to England for further education, where he learned several technologies of the train and other companies. He wants to bring an East India Company train. Uni calls a meeting and Xing keeps a proposal of a railway in front of everyone. Their village was surrounded by high mountains, so they don't have enough routes to travel. He wants to dig the mountains to bring the train here. In addition, electricity was soon to arrive. At the moment, he was giving a demonstration of everything. Unfortunately, his machine short-circuited and the fire spreads across there. The peasants begin to move from there and later deny the train. When Xing sees this, he feels terrible and becomes enraged. Uni arrived at her residence the next day where Luchan inquires about the Grand Master's location. Uni informs him that there is a forest across the way. There is a monastery there, and a Grand Master can be found. The forest appeared to be a long distance away, but Luchan made it there. He discovers that no one lives in the monastery. That's why, when he returns, he questions Uni about it. When Uni was going to leave angrily, Luchan grabbed her. She defeats him with her actions. Both of them are fighting hard, but Uni has the upper hand. As a result, Luchan's health deteriorates. Uni grabs him with 4 fingers at one point during the fight. When he becomes fully weak, she throws him down the house. Luchan sustains an injury as a result of this. Meanwhile, a village worker welcomes him into his home. Luchan asks him if he can teach him Kung Fu. He says no, I'm just an everyday worker who has no idea about it. The man requests him to return from there. We see Uni and Xing late at night. Xing is upset about his failure on the villagers. Uni's family was enormous and wealthy. He ends his relationship with Uni because there is no comparison between the two families. His family was not native to the area, the people will refuse to accept him. That's why Xing storms out of there. He feels so enraged that the next day he goes to the government office. And he gets authorization to build the train without the villagers' permission. The East India Company was supposed to assist him with this project. Luchan used to be thrashed for days by the villagers in the village. By doing so, he is able to mimic their movements and practice in the forest. Meanwhile, the worker returns, having saved his life. Luchan informs him that he has learned the basic Kung Fu in this manner. After hearing this, the worker assures him that everything is fine. But remember, the next time you're fighting with someone, you should learn their moves and use them against them. Luchan went to the village the next day and was challenged by a boy. He challenges that if he succeeds to falls get the 2 fu from his hand, he'll win. Luchan was initially trounced by him, but after a while, he began to mimic the boy's movements. In response, he begins to beat the youngster in his usual style. Someone pulls him during the battle, and Luchan falls on the boy. The 2 fu falls to the ground and Luchan wins the fight. He thinks maybe the Grandmaster pushed him. He runs to discover him. However, he is unable to locate him, but Uni recognizes the person who has pushed him. She chastises him since he has disobeyed the village's rules. We now know that the worker was the one who pushed him. Uni informs him that this Kung Fu cannot be taught to any outsiders. However, the man claims he did not teach him anything. He has picked up on everything from the people around him. After stating this, the worker walks away. The next day, a massive machine arrives in their community. As a result, the village is rocked by a tremendous earthquake. This machine was actually carried by Xing, who was accompanied by his co-worker. A girl, who was a college classmate of Xing, has been working beside him on this project. Xing appears in front of the people and warns everyone to leave the village within 7 days. Otherwise, their hamlet will be destroyed. When Uni sees Xing, she screams at him and tells him to stop. However, he activates the machine by signaling his co-worker. As a result, the village's gate is broken. A meeting is organized in the community when things have returned to normal. However, their great master, for whom Luchan was looking, was not present. Uni grows enraged and we see Luchan with the worker. The worker requests them that Luchan will help the community. Luchan has a fantastic opportunity to impress the villagers. The man afterward tosses Luchan into that massive machine. He goes inside to see how it works and brings back a lot of information. The colleague informs Xing the same night that she likes him and wants to marry him. Xing rejects her and adds, "I can't be in any relationship until I prove myself to the villagers." She wishes to return to England after hearing about Xing's rejection. Despite this, Xing informs his co-worker, "I'm not marrying you, but I always liked you." Uni was hearing it and meanwhile, she discovers a book that contains the machine's manual. That is why she steals the book in secret. Luchan and the worker go to dismantle the machine the next day. They were accompanied by Uni and proceeded to blast the machine. Uni informs Luchan that we must proceed to the control room described in the book. Meanwhile, they start looking for it in new places. They eventually discover the main control room. Meanwhile, Xing arrives and prevents them from carrying out their plan. Uni ignores him and pushes a rod into the main machine. As a result, the machine as a whole shorted out. Blasts start to go off all over the place. During all of this, Xing's colleague is hurt. As a result, she dies, and Uni passes out. Luchan carries her in front of the villagers after holding her. In the meantime, the Great Master arrives. We might deduce from this that the Grand Master was the worker who assisted Luchan. I don't want any villagers involved in this battle, The worker says. That is why, with the help of Luchan, I intend to destroy this machine. The East India Company is planning to attack them, and that is why everyone in the village prepares for the war. Their army will attack them in a few days. The villagers were all ready to fight, and the Grand Master was among them. A great war breaks out between them during this time, and Xing flees with his allies. During the battles in this conflict, Luchan also fainted. His black scar on his head got black and he was about to die as a result of this. They all proceed to the village's head. As Luchan has learned their kung fu, that's why he'll be punished. Grandmaster and his daughter Yuni, on the other hand, refused to make this decision. Punishment was compulsory for Luchan. Meanwhile, Yuni reminds the virtues of Luchan. He's guarded the community so he can study kung fu. He has put his own life on the line for the benefit of the villager. Yuni admires his actions, which is why she makes her decision public. Despite the fact that Luchan is not from this village, I will marry him. However, after we marry, he will become a member of my family. And he'll become a resident of this community. Grand Master is ecstatic as he hears this. Both are married in the next scene. We can observe the charges levied by the East India Company. They'll arrive with their army soon to attack this village. The film ends here. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe.